the WIHS Journal. In this 2024 year, of course, the tax season is just about over. We're in the middle of it, but today's conversation, I'll feature certified public accountant Stephen Babisi, who is a Christian and has an accountant firm called Kingdom Financial Solutions. On today's broadcast, he'll give you some tips and share his insights and pearls of wisdom for your upcoming season in taxes. If you don't know Stephen, let me tell you, he loves the Lord. He's all about the Lord, but he also has a lot of knowledge when it comes to your taxes, knowing about money, knowing the pros and the cons. So, Steve, thank you so much for being on with us today in the WIHS Journal. So before we start talking about LLCs and different ways people to save money, I know that you'll be busy soon with tax season. Is there anything new with tax season for people who need to know the new things this year?
Well, the big new thing is there's a new filing requirement for LLCs, whether you're a rental property or a business. Everyone that had to register with the Secretary of State has to file with this new federal government agency.
What are the ramifications if they don't, and how do they go about it?
Yeah. So you go on the website. It's fincin.gov. It stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And if you're a new business, this year you have 90 days to file. If you were already registered last year, you have until January 1st, 2024 to file. And if you don't file, there's penalties up to $500 per day, uncapped, plus a $10,000 fine and possibly 2 years in prison.
Wow.
Then when you make any changes to your business, like address changes or ownership changes, you have 30 days to amend the return or those fees kick in once again.
Wow. Do you know why that they're kicking in this new thing for LLCs?
Yeah, apparently they've done this in other countries. They're trying to cut down on money laundering, and so other countries have shared their database with the United States. They want us to share the database with the foreign countries to catch these criminals. But unfortunately, everyone gets sucked in and everyone has to file.
Yes. Now, what about for everyday regular tax people who just work 9 to 5? Are there any new stipulations that they should know about, and any great advice you can give for that?
Well, right now with parents that have young children that get the child tax credit, they're still debating whether they're going to increase the $2,000 credit to $3,000. But as they always do, they don't decide that until the middle of tax season. So if you filed your return, you might have to go back and amend it. So that's kind of one of the bigger changes this year. The other big change is the residential energy credits. It used to be up to $500 a lifetime for a house. Now it's $1,200 per year. And so you really want to strategize what you're going to fix each year, because if you hold stuff off, you can get a $1,200 credit this year, you can get a $1,200 credit next year.
Yes. Now, is there any new tax brackets that are changing this year, too? I've heard some stipulations that sometimes now they change it. If you made over $600, you have to report it, but it used to be a different number.
So those are your 1099s. If someone's provided a service for you and you paid them over $600, you have to give them a 1099. And they've attached fees to that now. If you're 30 days late, if you're 6 months late, because they're really trying to track the people that are subcontractors. As far as the tax brackets go, it's not this year, but 2026, we're due to sunset back to the 2017 rates. So whatever the tax law was in 2017, your standard deduction will be lower. You'll have personal exemptions again, but your tax brackets are going to go up 3% across the board because that's what they were in 2017.
Okay.
So this is a good time. If you're going to do Roth conversions to move money from tax deferred to tax free, you are going to have to pay 25%. Eventually, if you can pay 22%, if you can save the 3%, now is the time to do it.
So you doing everyday taxes for people. What other great advice people who are retired?
Well, for the retired people, so we try to help people live tax-free or tax efficiently. So every investment that they have, every piece of money that's coming in, it's either going to come in tax-free, tax-deferred, or taxable. And what we try to do is we reallocate where that money, how it's being taxed, so we can keep them under the tax filing threshold. So it takes a little maneuvering. You might have to pay some taxes up front. But we have charitable gift annuities that help do that, where you get a big credit, and then you can use that credit to do some conversions. So there are ways around the client always paying the taxes for that. But reallocating where their money is and how it's invested, like what tax bucket it's in, is very important for retired people.
Well, if you're tuning in right now to this broadcast, I'm speaking to Stephen Babisi. He is an accountant from Kingdom Financial Solutions. So tell our listeners about your office and, why your faith is so important to you.
Our office is down in Higadum, 415 Killingworth Road. And so we have an accounting office there. We do tax planning, tax preparation. But we also have an office upstairs where we put together, with Rabboni's Love, who I'm on their nonprofit, a food pantry. And we've used the food pantry to partner with Bread to Bread in Northford Community Church and Pastor John Vigneri, and they are feeding over 200 homeless people a week. So it's important, the stuff that I've learned out in the mission field, to do it here in America, to feed people and just show the love of Jesus to people everywhere we go.
That's awesome. So when people come to get their taxes done, they can literally donate food too.
Yes, they can donate food, and a portion of what they pay for their taxes goes directly to the mission field.
Awesome.
So they're helping widows and orphans all over the world.
Yes, that's so true. And I know that you also wrote a book. You wanted to maybe talk about the book, because I know your book is called The Biggest Mistakes That People Make in Taxes.
Yeah, so there's two books. There's one for business owners and one for individuals. And it's just showing taxpayers some out-of-the-box solutions that they can do that they don't really know that they can write off. Like, what we try to do is find stuff that they're spending money on and see if we can make that a deduction. One of the more common family-owned business, as early as age 7, a child can work, say, in an office setting, cleaning in the office, something like that, can work for their parents. They don't have to pay any payroll taxes. Parents are already paying for them, so they can teach their kids good work ethics, and they can also take a tax write-off, and with that tax write-off, with that money that child's making, could go be paying for, say, their summer camp. So now they're having the government pay for their summer camp.
That's pearls of wisdom right there, Stephen. Yes. What do you see some of the biggest mistakes that people make in their taxes?
The biggest mistake that probably make is they make financial decisions without consulting their tax preparer to see what the ramifications would be. We want our clients to call us, and we can educate them on, if they take this money out, what it's going to cost them. One of the big surprises is when people have cancellation of debt, that could become taxable. If they didn't file for bankruptcy and they're not insolvent, then it could be taxable to them. And with home values going up, increasing, and 401ks hopefully increasing, they do count your retirement money. Very few people would be considered insolvent. So if you had a $50,000 cancellation of debt, you now have to pay taxes on that money.
I enjoyed so much of your pearls of wisdom and just, different ways that people can grow in the economy. And I love it, about your faith. Tell us how your faith and finance, how they kind of interwove together.
Well, I was always interested in biblical financial concepts. And so I was just amazed of just the amount of scriptures that talks about, what we're supposed to be doing with our possession, how God owns everything, how it all needs to be available to God. So, I've always taught and counseled on these concepts, and I created a business where all the it's Kingdom Financial Solutions. None of the solutions come from me. They all come from God. He's the one that creates all of these solutions for people to save money. And if we can pay less in taxes, we have more to give to the kingdom of God.
Absolutely. So tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you and where you're located.
I'm located in Higginham, Connecticut, on 415 Killingworth Road, in between the personal fitness and the doctor's office. They can reach me through cell phone at 860-490-9741, or my email is stephen@financialsolutionsct.com. And for this year, if somebody comes in and mentions the radio station, we will give them a 20% discount, and if they agree to give that savings to the radio station.
Once again on the broadcast with us was CPA Stephen Babisi of Kingdom Financial Solutions. For more details about today's broadcast, you can give us a call at 860-346-1049. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.